Hi, my name's Keltie, and this is Stephanie Buttermore. And this is my massive ribcage. Now I've been a big fan of Stephanie's for years. Jeff, you hit the mother effing lottery with this girl. Can we just take a moment to applaud? She has her PhD. She has an amazing scientific-based fitness channel. She's a cancer research scientist, former fitness competitor, super talented storyteller here on YouTube, and a fellow lover of carbs. Oh, we love any girl that eats carbs and doesn't demonize them, yes! I especially loved her All In series, but we're gonna touch base on that later on in the video. Video of hers that always stood out to me was her stomach vacuum challenge. Now, since I was a young girl, I've had something called ATP, anterior pelvic tilt, which means I kind of naturally stand like this. Weak core, weak glutes, lower back pain. Now, something I didn't realize is this also resulted in something called rib flare, where your ribs flare out instead of down. And trust me, the internet loves to point out this massive insecurity I've had since a little girl. Oh, I love you, internet trolls. Thank you for pointing out something I hate about my body. Woo! But jokes aside, this is true. Since I was little, I've just always had this rib cage that sticks out. That's just gonna be 100% transparent. It's not something I'm proud of, but like, I remember being a little girl when Google was just starting being Google, like researching how can I make my rib cage smaller. And I knew it wasn't fat. Like, I've never, no matter how much I carried around there, it was just like I had massive bones. I remember Googling like, how'd you get rid of your rib cage? Stuff like that. And I would look up surgeries like, are they safe to get a rib removed? And I know it sounds insane, but it's just like, just being honest, it's just been an insecurity I've always had, and I felt my rib cage never matched my body. So it got me wondering, was it nothing to do with just necessarily the size of my ribs, but actually just not enough inner core strength to keep my ribs down from flaring up? And is that why they're so big? And because stomach vacuuming I didn't know about until Stephanie's video, I thought, why not try this, see if that fixes my rib flare, then maybe this is the solution I've always been looking for. So to perform a stomach vacuum, you're gonna blow out all your air and you're gonna squeeze your inner core muscles as hard as possible. So it's gonna look something like this. And squeeze, squeeze. So for 30 days, I did stomach vacuums before every single workout. Online it said to do 3 sessions of 20-second holds. So I did this first thing in the morning. At the start it was hard and I honestly couldn't hold my breath and squeeze it for more than 10 seconds. I didn't want my weight to change during this, so I was conscious to eat for maintenance the entire challenge. Oh, good for your lungs too. Oh. And the only weight change was my natural weight fluctuations due to water and hormones. No changes. If anything, I think it's got a little bigger. Well, there's that.
I just did it. I'm about 10 days into this. What I did notice, normally before, when I did the 20 seconds, I actually was only ever able to hold my breath for the 10 and squeeze, and I'd always have to like let out like a little air, like breathe in a little to keep holding. But now I just did it all like almost back to back, like a little pause in between, but could easily do the 20 seconds. Improvement. As for the rest of my training, I was still doing at-home workouts. I didn't want to stop my other workouts because that wouldn't be a fair comparison. The best way to see if this really worked would be to continue on my exact workouts as I normally would and add these stomach vacuums on. My workouts have been the same for most of lockdown. I do 45 minutes to 60 minutes of at-home workout, which you guys have seen trying different ones I've talked about in previous videos. 30 to 60 minutes of mobility and stretching for my gymnastics training. Another video coming soon. And then I usually go on 1 to 2 walks. I don't have a car, I need to walk places. And that's kind of stay consistent throughout this entire thing.
And for the scientific method to ensure I'm not gaining or losing weight during this, we can just see ab results. Diet staying the same. Now, a video request I actually get so much is to eat like Stephanie Buttermore's All In. So I thought I'd touch base on that. Guys, I've been all in for 99.99% of my life. If you haven't watched any of my videos, I like to eat. all jokes aside, I thought I'd touch base on this. Personally, I do take, I guess you would label it an intuitive eating approach. And I feel very in sync with my hunger hormones. Sometimes I eat a bit more, sometimes I eat a bit less. I don't count. I'm aware of calories and macronutrients and micronutrients, and I try to eat a balanced diet, but I have no victimized food, no demonized food. I put butter on my bread, and I'm aware when my sleep and hydration activity levels change, that's gonna change how much I need, and I just have an awareness of that. And I'm not bringing this as something to brag. I just want to continue this important conversation Stephanie has started. I have areas I struggle in my fitness and health journey, and I've shown some and I'll continue to show others, but that's something I don't currently struggle with at all. And I just hope to show that that's possible, because I feel, especially for females, not saying not for men, but females, it's just something that breaks my heart is culture has made diet so common, and that's why I think opening the conversation of extreme hunger and constant dieting and saying we just need to talk about it. And I just want a lot of girls to know it's possible to trust your hunger and get in tune with it, and you're not going to blow up, and that your body will sit at a really healthy place. So when I say eat intuitively and I can trust my body, I'm not saying it to brag. I just wanted to say like it's possible. I think Stephanie showed it so vulnerably, and that's why I think her challenge, or her journey I should say, was so important. And that's why I'm not going to do one of my I ate Stephanie Buttermore's all in, unless I did it from like pure entertainment thing. I know her boyfriend Jeff did it, but I would only ever do that if like literally Stephanie said to my face like, Keltie, that'd be a great video, just because I have such a high level of respect for what she did, and I would never want to like comedicize, like made it kind of like a comedy of her all in any sort of way, because I just think it was such an important thing for the internet, and I think that's why we resonated. And I'm just gonna leave it with one more thing before I dip back into stomach vacuums. I don't know, Stephanie, if you'll ever watch this. I just want to say thank you for putting this on the internet. If any of you watched her all in, I know I watched it. There was a point where she felt the internet was turning on her, and I was watching actually with my best friend Ash, and it broke both of our hearts, because like I felt like I was cheering you on the entire time, being like, yes, thank you for doing this. The world needs women like you on the internet speaking. You felt alone, and it just breaks my heart that the internet trolls got to her and that we weren't promoting someone more. YouTube unfortunately thrives off trauma cultures, and that I hope there's more videos out there that glamorize in a positive light what she did. And so here's me saying, Stephanie, you are loved. Thank you for doing this. There was millions of us cheering you along the way, and I hope you're feeling that love. So yeah, I just got really sappy there for a second. Anyways, back to the stomach vacuum thing. Oh my God, I have food on my mouth. I'm halfway through the vacuum challenge-ish, give or take a day, and here is how it looks. As I was watching the finale of Stephanie's All-In Challenge and seeing the confidence she had by the end of it, and she currently has, it reminded me body confidence would not come from a smaller waist size or a smaller rib cage, and that our waist size is not always the indicator of being healthy. A great reminder for me is, and hopefully you guys, is we can watch other people's fitness journeys and be inspired by them even when our goals are totally different. And I think Stephanie's All-In journey really helped me in that sense. So now for my results after 30 days. My weight was pretty much the same throughout, except for natural weight fluctuations, and I didn't see much changes that I wouldn't associate much to anything other than weight fluctuations, how much was in my stomach or not, depending what I ate or drank the day before. But I did notice I was able to engage my ribs more, so I feel when they were contracted, they felt a little smaller because I was just able to squeeze more, if that makes sense. This got me thinking, I wonder if my abs and core were too weak at the beginning of this, because if you didn't know, Stephanie did her 6-month ab training the 6 months leading up to her 30-day stomach vacuum, so she obviously had really strong core muscles. But I wonder if it took me just the first 3 weeks to even just learn how to properly do it before I actually started doing it properly near the end. So I feel now I properly do stomach vacuum. So I wonder if the first 3 weeks it was just like learning the technique. So in essence, there was no way to see progress. But leading off that is I got this like cool mind muscle connection with my core I I've never had that really like connected me with it. I think I was able to make my abs appear to pop more just because I learned to engage them at a deeper level. That also leads me into my mental results. I didn't fix my ribcage. Just popping in to give a trigger warning, if you have ever suffered or are currently suffering with any disordered body image issues, anything in that sense, I would love if you could skip to this part. It will be safe for you. The next little bit, I do talk about my specific inches, and I just want to remind everyone we're all built differently. I hope this video shows, and I talk about this later, you can't really change certain parts of your body, and so that's why we should never compare ourselves. We should love ourselves. But just popping in to say I love you, and just maybe skip ahead to this part if you ever feel a comparison or trigger when you see people's measurements.
For my measurements, my waist fluctuated between 24.5 to 26 inches throughout the entire challenge, but honestly, that's really typical for me in general, and it really has more to do with my time of the month. As for my rib cage, at rest, it started around 30 inches and stayed that throughout the entire challenge. It was around 29.5 when I flexed in a stomach vacuum at the beginning, but by the end I noticed I was able to flex and actually get it to about 28.5 inches. Reviewing this footage, I was honestly shocked with how much my stomach vacuums just looked to improve near the end, and that's what I'll contribute to even like that inch loss, is just I established this much stronger mind muscle connection, and I could make my abs pop more than I ever could in the past.
But oddly enough, I don't know how to put this into words. I know it was just squeezing my stomach, but it allowed me to connect with my rib cage in a way I never did. Like, it was always this like separate part of my body. It never felt it was a part of me. Like, it was just a thing I hated. So I always felt like it was Keltie and my stupid big rib cage. But for whatever reason, I just felt more connected. I don't know how. It was like an internal little hug for my rib cage, and that's really, really cheesy and cringy that I just said that, but that's the only words that came to mind. I began to treat my muscle imbalances, my lack of mobility, my weak core, not from a place of hatred like I did kind of at the start of the challenge, being like, this is the thing I hate, I want to change. It just more became from like, this is a way of loving my body. Is, I know it's like, Keltie, you're engaging your core, but weak core can lead to a lot of posture imbalances, and if I care about sports performance and things like that. So near the end, I just felt more connected, and it coming from more of a place of love rather than hatred towards my body. And I've always said moving your body has always made me the most confident, but this is just like another reminder that I think we all need to, because I'm not perfect at this by any means. I still have my insecurities, but I find every time I go inward and move my body from a place to love, that always brings more confidence. So my final takeaways from this challenge, sports performance will always be my bread and butter, my passion. I'm on my gymnastics training journey, so I will continue to do core strengthening exercises, because I still need to for sports performance. But I think I'm going to step back and do things more like planks and hollow holds and things like that I know to build that strength, and maybe try the stomach vacuuming again, because like I'd be interested to do it from when I have a bit more ab strength, because even though I saw a little bit of changes, I just think it was just eye-opening how lack of stomach and core control I actually have. It's a constant reminder. It's not an on-off switch. I preach it so much, but I need to say this to myself. Your fitness journey should always come from a place of love and not hatred. You'll see more success this way. And so every month I somehow find a new way to remind myself of that. And I think Stephanie's all-in journey was also an amazing thing. And I know I kind of combined talking about that and her challenge, but I just want to take a moment to preach anyone that promotes a positive body image in terms of the fitness industry, of movement in your body and strength and power and feeling good in your skin. I think that should be constantly praised. So thank you, Stephanie, for doing that. And yeah, so that's that's what I found out. So I know this is kind of a funny challenge, but it was more, I just went into it being like, yeah, I think I'm gonna have like 2 less inches off my rib cage for bikini season. And then suddenly I was watching her journey, and then insecurities and all this stuff became way deeper than I thought it would be. Why did these things happen to me? I don't know. Thank you guys for tuning in like always. If there's any other challenges you guys want me to do, comment below. I've got some other exciting ones coming up. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in like always. Have a great day. Go pet dog. Love you. Bye.